Good morning, light beings. We're near the afternoon, but I wanted to come on and talk and kind of wrap up some stuff, connect some stuff here in the news on World 411. First, I'm going to start with I hope everyone is doing well this morning and everyone is safe and taking care of themselves properly and really going inside and connecting to that higher power that you possess. And the more we delve in, the more we see that our problem is we're too much on the outside of ourselves, looking around at the world and we're doing it in the wrong manner because there's a right way and a wrong way. The right way would be to look around in the world for our safety and inflammation. This inflammation is important for us to know. But the wrong way is to find self outside ourselves. And we're supposed to go inside for that and utilize the things around us and pay attention to the signs. See, if we're so engulfed in the things that take away from our growth and we're not paying attention to the signs we've been given spiritually from the spiritual world. So we kind of have to work on knowing how to weigh our insides against the outside of us. First, we have to get ourselves back whole again. Because like they say, we're 3/5, but we need to make ourselves whole again. That's with our spiritual and our culture. Find ourselves again. You know, I know not all of us were raised in a 100% home that gave us that culture. But I'm sure you have friends and other family members that gave you some. So we have to, and then what we see too, we have to build that up. If we never got it, we know that it's within us a little bit. So we have to kind of put it back together ourselves. So let me go into the news tonight. This is my introduction. It is evident that the Black mind is a heavenly place versus the hell-bent minds that a hell-minded people have pretty much induced within us. If one can just become aware of what's around them and they can see the truth of the world around them, it definitely doesn't take a sociologist degree, a psychology degree. You don't have to read about it in a book. You only have to be aware of the experience that you're going through and be aware of why certain people just don't think or have the capability to feel as you do. You have to get that down first because this society is quick to cover up and say, we're all one people, we all bleed red, but we all don't think and feel the same way. And the society is quick to tell you, majority of this society is say, the hell with the feelings, especially when I was in the military. No one wants to go on feelings. They feel like that's a weakness. But I've done videos on emotions and how you can utilize those emotions to empower you. See, I was always a very sensitive person. But I recognize that can be used as a strength also. It can be used as a strength because it weeds out what is good for you and what is not good for you, what is healthy and what is not healthy. Your feelings are a sensory for certain things. We have never been taught the good abilities. We've always been told about the bad, negative abilities. This is the psychology of the Iceman, to keep you in the left brain, stuck in the left brain. And I would also add that's probably why we have a lot of crime in our communities. We already know it's the financial part of it. So what about the mental and the emotional part that's done to our people? That's something to really ponder, to really think about. And, be aware of why certain people just don't think or have the capability to feel as you do, and how it is turning our people into becoming more and more like that. There is incentives, like I said on my last video about incentives. There's money incentive, there's acceptance. Our people are lacking in a lot because we don't have those villages, we don't have those communities anymore, where we had some ma'at, some balance. Now, whenever I talk about, it's important to understand, hold on, let me get this. It's important to understand ma'at. I'm going to share my screen here in a minute, and then we'll get into all the news I have compounded here. Let's look at it. You see, they say here that the food you eat affects your brain. But they're not talking about us, because when they push this concept, they push meats. They push red meat in particular, especially red meat. But, this is how you become better than the ones who are educated in this system. You have to look at things differently. You see, education in this system, I've been to 2 colleges. I graduated from University of Old Dominion, which was it's a white and a black, it's a mixed college. It seems like it's heavily Jewish, but I don't know, because it just seems like, I guess it's just in like a Jewish kind of part of that Jewish community over there, but I don't know. It's not, I wouldn't say, I just say Caucasian. But, whenever they speak on things, we got to recognize that they're not talking about us and our benefits. Definitely not. You see, we got to realize that when we're in this society, we have to, when I was a young age, I noticed something. I noticed something about the world around me that was extraordinary to notice at that age. Hey, DJ Moss. When I was younger in school, I used to count what made us significant and what made it insignificant. And that was by the amount of white students that were in the class and the amount of black students that were in my class, because I was having a black experience. Don't think I ignored the white students, even though they were a little less. And the same with my neighborhood that I was in for a short period of time. It was a black neighborhood, but we did have white children in there. But the majority rules. You're going to get more blackness when more black people around. You're going to get more whiteness. You see, when I moved to the Caucasian neighborhood, I was like sucked up with whiteness and their mentality and their state of existing. We became hoodlums in the white neighborhood in teenage years. It was called you were a hoodlum. You know, they would call it something different in the Black community. So, you know, I knew those dynamics at an early age, and it didn't take me to go to college to examine that. Because especially for us as a people, we got to recognize education wasn't something that we, you know, we had education. We had it for a reason, because by nature we were people that looked around us and questioned things and looked and examined things constantly. That's how we taught our kids back in those days. Before the Caucasian, way before the Caucasian came up. It was on the life experiences and dealing with those deeper things that we felt first. Because spirituality, all the indigenous people were grounded in their spirituality. So that was like, they were more maybe heavily into the right side of the brain, and then dealing from the right side to the left side to function, because that's the way it was supposed to be, because things manifest from the spiritual, and we bring it tuition into the physical, you know. So let me find what I'm trying to say. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. You know, so let me get the. Let's see. Okay, this is kind of small. I need a bigger one than that. Okay, this one seems bigger. Yeah, that one's bigger. Okay. Now I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Hey, Shannon. Huh? Skate? Okay, hold on in a minute. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, we see the 7 principles of Ma'at. Ma'at is an ancient system of morals and values that guided thought and behavior in ancient Kemet. It is also found in many other cultures in Africa. Okay. Okay, I know. Go put your clothes on first. It's on your dresser. Okay. We have truth based in fact with honesty and integrity. We have justice, a state of fairness and lawful judgment. We have righteousness, a state of consistent good conduct. Reciprocity, what goes around comes around. Balance, an equal distribution of weight. You see, if you're missing any of this together, the other doesn't work. So, an equal distribution of weight, order, the correct sequence of thoughts and action, harmony, the accord, a pleasing arrangement. You see, naturally, this is in our DNA. This is naturally within the Black man and Black woman's DNA. What one person's perception is, like I talked about, dark and light, it's all upon perception. Of course, they want the light to be seen as a great place to be in. That's why we're here, because we've been told that the light is this heavenly place. And we keep coming back to the light because we think that somehow this is our heaven. And unfortunately, one gets stuck in thinking that somehow the light is a beautiful place. You know, everything around us looks beautiful, yeah. But we don't want to stay in this, because along with the beauty and all the other stuff comes with it, the hell part of it. You know, it even tells you in the Bible, it makes out to be a light to the world, but it's not. It's actually the evil place. And it's telling you that even though people have manipulated the scriptures, and it's telling us that the dark, you know, the dark and the light are one. Which means there's a place that contains the true light and it's dark. But if they're saying light alone, beware, because it might be a lie. It might be a lie. So basically, we can pretty much say that hell is pretty much talking about being without the ability to balance. When you don't have the ability to balance between your left brain and your right, as seen here, wouldn't this become a hell? This could become hell. And this could become hell as well, just being all right brain and not having the left. Can you imagine the issues that would come up? Could you imagine the issues that you would have? If you know, we see the issues that we have being our logic analyzing, organizations and administration, math and science, knowledge, facts, details. We're so focused on these things that we leave out the emotion, the intuition, the spirituality, the interpersonal skills, The art, the music, the belief, the big picture, not necessarily the belief, the knowledge, the know, I would say. Knowing oneself. Push your foot in. Push your foot in. Push your foot in. Push your legs. Hold on. Hold on a minute. Peaceful flow, welcome. Hold on a second, family. Let me get something situated. Okay, I'm back, family. Let me fix this for you. Okay, can you imagine that if we all were just right-brained, how destructional that would be? We already see how just been all people been left-brained and not utilizing both abilities, which we know the Caucasian cannot get to this part. He can't access this part of the brain. Because if he could, he wouldn't need us. We wouldn't have been enslaved. We wouldn't be getting shot on the streets. We wouldn't be getting killed. There wouldn't be no such thing. You fix it? You fix it? Let me tie your shoe. Hold on. It's making me fall. Did you fix it? Walking my bed. outside the yard right now because I don't want you to be hurting yourself. No. Mommy, how do you say mommy? Right here on the thing, you gotta learn first. I mean, it doesn't take a scientist or psychologist or sociologist to see that we're dealing with the lack of compassion. We've been dragged into a society where we're heavily dependent upon for music, arts, entertainment. When they did their entertainment and stuff, they did it without any compassion in the beginning. Hollywood was created upon dogging out the black men and black women. Slavery, pretty much. Majority of the movies back in the day dealt with slavery. How we were treated, and still no compassion for that. It's just more this. It was about the business. It was about how to get us trapped, how to, they're thinking, and our people over here saying, let's play chess, let's not play chess, let's don't play checkers, let's play chess. But you need the left and the right to know that you don't have to play anything with these people. You just have to know their weakness and make it our strength. So with that said, family, we're going to go into some news. Hey, Miss Life Lessons. Welcome, lady. Welcome. We're going to look at some news, today. And the first news I want to look at is this world news in Ghana. What's going on in Ghana here? Let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, where is it at? Okay, here we go. It says Ghana activists sue government to save forest from mine. Okay. Plaintiffs say mining in the forest violates their constitutional right to clean and healthy environment. Amen to that, family. The Chinese are going over and doing some destructive things because, they don't have that right side of the brain. They don't even have the right side of the brain over in China. And a lot of people giving them too much credit. And it takes the white man's incentives going over there for people to want to be white or be lighter or Asians than they want. And that's why the darker Asians always get the bad front end of everything. So it's the same all over the world, no matter where you go. It's that same thing all over the world, no matter where you go. It's dark or light. Okay, Accra environmental activists have sued Ghana's government to stop a proposed mining project in a protected national forest, which they say endangers their health and well-being amid growing calls to increase nature reserves to combat climate change. The proposed mine in the Atwa Range Forest is part of the $2 billion deal signed with China, which will gain access to bauxite used to make aluminum in exchange for financing infrastructure projects such as roads and bridges in Ghana. 7 local advocacy groups and 4 citizens claimed that mining in the forest violates their constitutional right to clean and healthy environment and their right to protect it for future generations. Their lawyer said this week, "The forest is our life," said Otinga. Hold on, y'all. No, you're gonna hurt yourself. Don't be on the stairs, baby. I don't know how you got it. You gotta stay in the grass. You gotta stay on the sidewalk. You gotta do the sidewalk out there. You want to escape, you go to the grass and let it escape. Okay, so you're gonna fall, you're gonna really hurt yourself if you keep on. Ghana's government, okay. Bauxite mining is one-time payment. The government cannot bring back the original forest. Okay. Yeah, the government couldn't bring back the original forest. The forest is our life, said Otinga, head of concerned citizens of Ottawa Landscape, one of the groups involved in the case, which went to the High Court on July the 1st, according to documents seen by the Thomas Reuters Foundation. Ghana's government spokesman did not immediately respond to requests for comment, and the state-owned Ghana Integrated Aluminum Development Corporation declined the comment. President Nana Akufo-Addo has previously said the bauxite can be extracted without disturbing the wildlife, and Gajia Dak has promised the growing bauxite industry will create 35,000 jobs. Scientists estimate at least 1 million species face extinction in the next few decades, and the United Nations wanted governments to back plans up conserve. Before scientists, this was common sense. This is just common sense. What? No, I can't. You're the one who wants to stay. No. You gotta learn to get control. Get up and down. Okay. Yeah, I was saying before the scientists, this was common sense and it was too evident. Okay. It says, back plans to conserve 30% of the Earth's surface by 2030 at its biodiversity convention in China next year. Across Africa, local groups are becoming increasingly emboldened to use the courts to pursue grievances against the mining firms. Hold on. So are you ready to come in? Are you ready to come in? You finished? You finished? Okay. No, I'm scared. Are you finished? Are you finished? Okay. I'm not scared. Take your shoes off. Then we can go to stage. What do you want to do, Shana?
Can I stay outside?
With Reba?
No!
Where you want to skate at, Rita? Out in the backyard?
These skates are ugly, Mom.
Out in the backyard? What you want? You want to go? Excuse me, family. All right, I'm back. Okay. Across Africa, local groups are becoming increasingly emboldened to use the courts to pursue grievances against mining firms as they balance the need to boost growth and jobs with maintaining their dwindling forest cover. Ghana experienced a 60% rise in primary forest loss between 2017 and 2018, the highest rise in any tropical country, according to the US-based Global Forest Watch. With trees lost to illegal mining, logging, and expanding cocoa farms, the Tuwa forest is home to rare plants and animals and is the source of 3 major rivers that provide water to millions, including residents of the capital, Accra, about 90 kilometers away. Campaigners want it to be turned into a national park, but bulldozers have already begun to clear paths in the forest. The activists and residents have been campaigning since 2017 and to stop the mine with marches. An online petition, nearly 30,000 signatures, a billboard outside the presidential palace, and support on Twitter from actor Leonardo DiCaprio. It is unfortunate that time and again citizens have to fight our own government before we can secure our environment, says Daryl Bosu, the Deputy National Director of Roka Ghana, one of the conservative groups suing the government. That's the news for Ghana. Now, we see that leave her alone, Rita. Stop crying. No, let her learn how to get herself in breath. Okay, on to the next news, family. Okay. Hey, S. Wiseman, welcome. Now we're going to get into the next news. Let me go in here and get my. Okay, let me share my screen. The next news is going to be on reparations. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, in a historic move, North Carolina City approves reparation for Black residents.
Was an expression. Now it's reality. Amazon Prime has this discount program that gives me a little extra money to use every month. I was in.
Yeah, we're about ready to get the news here.
But now I have Amazon. I can shop from my chair. They have the greatest customer service I have ever seen.
Calls for racial justice and equality are growing louder in America. With those calls comes a renewed interest in reparations. Reparations are the act of making amends to someone or a group of people who have been wronged. Germany paid billions of dollars in reparations to Holocaust victims or their families and to Israel after the Nazi atrocities of World War II. And in 1988, the U.S. paid more than 80,000 Japanese Americans who were held in internment camps during World War II. They each got $20,000. But African Americans have never gotten reparations for their 246 years of slavery. Lawmakers have introduced bills in Congress to study reparations and whether it's possible, but most have never gotten very far. In 2008, the House of Representatives issued an apology for slavery. And in 2019, bills to study and develop a proposal for reparations were introduced into both houses of Congress. But the legislation languished. Recently, there's been renewed interest, like the Harriet Tubman Community Investment Act, which the Maryland General Assembly is considering. The Brookings Institution says it could be a possible blueprint to what reparations could look like for Black Americans. Under this act, the descendants of slaves in Maryland could receive the following repayments. Tracing the descendants of slaves will be one major challenge. Unlike victims of the Holocaust and Japanese internment camps, there are not a lot of paper trails for the descendants of slavery. The census didn't count Black Americans until 1870, and unlike immigrant groups who have their history documented at Ellis Island, there's no central historical database for the descendants of slaves.
Okay, let's get into the article. In an extraordinary move, the Asheville City Council has apologized to
At one time, fixed income was an expression. Now it's reality.
Okay. Include. Oh, okay. Here we go. Apologize for North Carolina City's historic role in slavery discrimination. What? What is going on? Huh? What? Bring this up.
No, Mom.
Close my door.
I can see. What's that?
And denial of basic liberties to Black residents and voted to provide reparations to them and their descendants. The 7-0 vote came the night of July the 14th. Hundreds of years of Black blood spilled that basically fills the cup we drink from today, says Councilman Keith Young, one of the two African-American members of the body and the measure's chief proponent. It's simply not enough to remove statues Black people in this country are dealing with issues that are systematic in nature. And that is a fact. Like I said, the left brain. We are both left and right brain people. You don't need a psychologist, you don't need a DNA to determine our greatness. You see it every day versus from the people that provoked and invoked the trauma upon us. And once we understand that and see that for ourselves, we can know what the problem is and what we got to do. Until you can see that for yourself, because a doctor, a lawyer, no one who graduated from college is going to explain that to you, because they can't. They don't have the ability to, because they benefit from this society of white supremacy, because it's an easier way for them to live. They can't live just on the left brain by themselves. They did need us, and they needed our strength from our right and our left brain. They need it because we have both abilities. So you can see this in this society, how they have broken us down to be more dominantly left brain and to not really get our understanding until we get it from someone else. When it starts with us first, proposing the question and the curiosity to it. Let's see. The anonymously passed resolution does not mandate direct payments. Instead, it will make investments in areas where Black residents face disparities. The resulting budgetary and programmatic priorities may include, but not be limited to, increasing minority home ownership and access to other affordable housing, increasing minority business ownership and career opportunities, strategies to grow. See, all of this is left brain stuff. All of this is left brain stuff. I'm not saying that it's not important, but the people, we need our wealth. We need our wealth given back to each household so that they can do what they need to do. Utilizing, I'm doing a video this time. You've been loud. No, we don't want to touch you if you're not talking. Okay? Come on. Where do you want to go? 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 Let's go! We are ready upon our own merit to live life out in a balanced and productive way. By our own merit. Many of us have that home ownership. I know there's many that do need that home ownership. But our people are resilient. Our people have abilities that have been taken away from us that we are gaining back naturally. We're recognizing a lot about ourselves. So each household needs their own money to do you see, all this, like I said, is left brain stuff that they're doing. They're not, people heavily dependent on the left side of the brain, got us stuck in our left side of the brain and telling us they're gonna give us benefits from the left side of the brain. But how is that helping us when we need to be balanced? That's the problem. You need to balance us back out. So, it's all good. They're talking about increasing generational wealth should be a focus. You know.
Con diabetes tipo 2, la solución aún está en mí. Por eso elegí Trulicity, que activa mi cuerpo para liberar la insulina que aún reducir el azúcar en mi sangre. Trulicity no es insulina, la uso solo una vez a la semana. Es actual desde la primera dosis y podría perder un poco de peso. Trulicity no es para personas con diabetes tipo 1 o cetosis de 20. Tampoco si eres alérgico a su principio si tu familia padece de tiroides o simplemente no se tiene. Sus beneficios se llaman ingredientes especiales para la enzima alérgica. Seres efectos secundarios pueden incluir diabetes. El uso de Trulicity con insulina aumenta el riesgo de bajo de azúcar en sangre. Efectos secundarios incluyen náusea, diarrea, dolor abdominal y pérdida de apetito, que causan deshidratación y podría empeorar problemas renales. Lo que más importa, quiero reducir el azúcar en mi sangre. También, ahora está en ti preguntarme a tu médico por Trulicity. Race is still the leading indicator about whether or not one succeeds. And systemic racism is really just naming the complex interaction of culture, policy,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even turn it on.
that hold in place the outcomes we see in our society based on race. We stand today for the black people. There is also institutional bias, and there's systemic bias, which is just acknowledging our history, our culture, all of our policy and practice, and the ways in which those things determine the success for people in our country based on race. But whether we're thinking about employment, whether we're thinking about access to education, whether we're thinking about access to public health, what are the questions we should be asking that guarantee that access for everyone, especially based on their needs, that would allow us all to see the kind of successful, thriving communities that I think we're all yearning even as we're talking about in this moment the horrors of the murder of George Floyd, the reality is that over 20,000 Black people have died at more than twice the rate of white folks as a result of COVID. And that is about the history of those systemic failings. It's really about placing white people in an advantaged position, continued investment, continued advantage that actually plays out in the outcomes in our community. Deeply believe we are in a moment where we have the opportunity to sort of turn the corner on our history and really live into the just, multiracial, democratic society that I think we all yearn to be. Con diabetes tipo 2, la solución aún está en mí. Por eso elegí Trulicity, que activa mi cuerpo para liberar la insulina que aún produce y reducir el azúcar en mi sangre. Trulicity no es insulina, la uso solo una vez a la semana. Empieza a actuar desde la primera dosis y podría perder un poco de peso.
Trulicity no es para personas con diabetes tipo 1 o cetoacidosis diabética. Tampoco si eres alérgico a Trulicity o si tú o tu familia padece de carcinoma medular de tiroides o síndrome de neoplasia endocrina múltiple tipo 2. Suspende su uso y llama al médico de inmediato si presentas una reacción alérgica, un bulto o inflamación en el cuello, dolor de estómago severo, cambios en la visión o retinopatía diabética. Serios efectos secundarios podrían incluir pancreatitis. El uso de Trulicity con una sulfonilurea o insulina aumenta el riesgo de un nivel bajo de azúcar en la sangre. Efectos secundarios incluyen náusea, diarrea, vómito, dolor abdominal y pérdida del apetito, lo que causa deshidratación y podría empeorar problemas renales.
Por lo que más importa.
Okay. So there you go. Until a lot of people recognize the true issue is that we're not doing things upon our own merit. They're going to hand us the system of the left brain again. And not really, we're probably not into benefiting in the way that we need to benefit from that. You see what I'm saying? So let's go into the next news. I may have to stop this early because I have some, the children are ferocious. You ready to take it off? Okay, hold on. There you go. Be careful with that, Shiny. Okay. What do I want to go into next? The news. I had several news. I think it's talking about this next news. I think it's talking about no, it's not it. It's not what I need. Okay. Let me find my next news. I don't think I had much. No, I'm up here. Okay. What was this about? I labeled it Dead During Pleasure. Let's see what the news is talking about. Yeah. Okay. What had happened was a Georgia teenager. Okay, I'm going to share the screen again with you guys. A Georgia teenager went skydiving for her first time ever skydiving, and she dies. You see, we know what time it is, family. It's that time. It's time for all dead things to die. Tragedy struck for a Georgia family over the weekend when a teenager's first skydiving attempt went terribly wrong. Gina Triplicata, 18, chose skydiving as an exciting way to commemorate her recent high school graduation, CNN reported. But she tragically died along with her instructor during their tandem jump Sunday. Gianna's family watched on from below as the duo's chutes failed to open, and they both plummeted towards the ground, according to the CNN. Gina and the instructor, 35-year-old Nick Esposito, were pronounced dead on the scene. Upson County Sheriff Dan Kilgore told CNN that after Gianna and Esposito jumped from the plane, the primary parachute failed to open properly and went into a spin. The emergency chute was also deployed at a low altitude. but it also failed to open fully, Kilgore added. You know, another question one can ask oneself is this ability to fly. The Caucasian has a deep, deep need and want to fly. And you know, all of that ability is in a certain part of the brain that they cannot access. See, more science right here. All we got to do is look around and see what these Caucasians are obsessed with. And we see what we're not obsessed with and why we understand that quite naturally. But then some of us follow behind these people. We become obsessed with something that is not our nature to be obsessed with. So, you know, it takes a little thinking on our part, you know, about what we see in the world and why we see that and why that is, to start questioning things and then studying deeply and then reading books on that subject to find, you're not going to know what to read and what to look for. You know, it's good to go and have that question and pose that question first on what's going on with the world around me and why do I see this, and then go and study for yourself. You know, you don't need a professional to really tell you these things. It's there. It's there. You know, it's there. Let me see. What other news do I want to get into? Okay, the illegal animal. Okay, taking animals out of their natural habitat. You know, we don't really do this. This is not what we do. But we have the ability to do this if we're following behind certain people, the Iceman. We're going to do this. We're going to get exotic animals and want to keep them in our house too. You know, especially if we share their DNA. We share the people that do this. We share their DNA. Police captured 2-year-old kangaroo hopping around Fort Lauderdale. The kangaroo is 2-year-old male named Jack. He's actually illegal to have in the city of Lauderdale. He's he's illegal to have. But somebody brought him, this poor little baby that may never find his mom, from Australia or from some other place, and they just decided to have him here to live with them. And the police picked him up on the streets. He was running around on the streets loose, and it's only a 2-year-old male named Jack. Now, they were trying to give Jack that little kangaroo's experience, the kangaroo that lost his mom in the little cartoon that turned into real life. It was like a cute little cartoon back in the 80s. I'd say mid 80s. I forgot what that cartoon was called. I love that cartoon anyway. It was just so sweet, so sad. But they brought him to this America, and they did not keep him well, you know. So, you know, they had to let them know that it's not allowed to do this. It's not allowed. You know? And plus, you know, it's against so many. It's against the law of nature. You know, you just don't take other animals. You don't take animals out of their place. So here's the sweet thing. So like they usually do, they lock it up in the cage like they do everything else. You know, what do we do? You know, this is too much left brain, not having compassion for anything else in the world, as usual, family, as usual. No compassion. Just only me, and what I want. Yeah, what I want. I want an exotic monkey. I want an exotic gorilla. I want an exotic kangaroo. I want an exotic baby koala bear, just so it can hug me like it hugs a tree. No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. How would you feel if someone did you like that? They were like, oh, I want a Caucasian. Oh, I want a little Caucasian so I can pet its little furry hair and just wash it and just, you know, spray it and take care of it. Yes, they always Cajun things for their own amusement. And it's so sad. It's just so sad that we don't even recognize these things. We think it's normal. We think that their psychology becomes normal to us, and we think that it's something we need to change or we need to live up to what standards they laid out. We need to live up to their political standards. We need to do what they're doing. What's wrong with us? What's wrong? What the hell is wrong with Black people? It's Black people because you're Black. It's you call yourself Black. You calling yourself Black, so that's an issue. You're darkness. You're evil. You're not getting anywhere. We got to change our identity. We got to do this. We got to do that. We got to do everything we got to do is left brain. It's their way of doing things. Why don't we recognize who we are and what our abilities are and use those for ourselves, not them? We're not here for we are the world anymore. It just can't work like that. You know, that was done. Michael Jackson did that, they killed him. Martin Luther King did that, they killed him. Noble Drew Ali, he did what he did, they killed him. You know, everyone did what they did, and what death was their ultimate thing they met. And you know, my question is, did they get to know that they can escape the planet? Did they work on themselves spiritually so they can escape this place, this madhouse? Or did they think deeply that the dark was dark and light was light? Light was the perfect and the safe place to go to, and then only to return back to here. You know, to where we're doing the news every day, and we have to hear the news. But I'm doing the news over here differently. I'm letting you know that, you know, just where we're at, existing in. Exactly. Miss Life says she is so tired of coexisting with them. I am too. I am too, very tired.
You want it.
Okay. I am too, very tired. Okay. And I'm not going to hold y'all too long, family. So I just wanted to come on and talk about, oh, I forgot about Canon. Yeah, hold on 1 second. Yeah, in a nutshell, our men are the ones that have the might, and you know, they are at some point. This left brain, this right brain, is going to have to be recognized, and stop thinking you have to sit down and play with someone who has half a brain, someone who only gets the left side of the brain when you got both. But you know what? They balance themselves out because they got half of us and they got the incentive. They got the what we call power, the money we give our energy to. They got a fake currency system. And like I said, they got some of our people to back them. So they got what we give power to, and some of our deplorables that have turned into being like them because they gave up their souls. You know, but we recognize that we have both the left and the right brain, and we got Ma'at built within us quite naturally. We have justice, we have harmony, we have all this. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't have been easy prey. We have, you know, talents and stuff that get used every day. So what can I say about that? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is with Nick Cannon. And it is what it is with our men. And I talked about this days ago. And someone got offended because I said our men are more inclined because of the energies, the frequencies of themselves, and the planet. There's so much. It is a big part of them. But for us, we're right brain, you know, and left brain. But we're more of the feminine. We're more of the feminine, so we can extract ourselves from this easily. But we don't want to extract ourselves from it too much because we got to deal with the left side of the brain. But you want to be balanced at that. But the brothers, they don't really know the science down to a T. And that's our whole issue with Nick Cannon and others like him. We are literally seeing the wheat become the tare. And that's just the way it is. Wheat can become tare. And that's why you got to separate it, your wheat from your tare, so you can have food, family, so we can have food to eat. You know, you don't want your tares to destroy your wheat. You destroy those tares. But you know, the great ones don't know they're great. So thank you, Cry About It. Why don't you? Welcome to my channel. Please like, subscribe. And with that said, family, I love every and each one of you. And I hope that y'all can join me later on today when I get into, I think I'm going to go on and get into the wheats and the tares tonight. And if you don't get to catch it live tonight, I have a couple other videos I'm going to be throwing out. I'm going to throw out my 40 question challenge soon. And then I got a video on my father. I'm going to do that on the video. So with that said, family, true love, real peace, and the higher self within the soul. Till next time.